You think you know how the world works?
It's him. And do we proceed? Yes.
What if I told you the reality you know is one of many?
This doesn't make any sense.
Not everything does. Not everything has to.
Welcome to the end of your life, and I promise it's going to hurt.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up.
Welcome to the Midwest Anime Show. I'm your host, DOC, with my partner in crime, Mr. Conspiracy.
Oh, stop it. You're too kind. I am Mr. Conspiracy. And oh yeah, back to that other guy.
We want to take time out to thank our sponsor, Anime T-Shirts Today, your number one source for anime. You can check out their website at www.animetshirtstoday.com. Welcome to the Midwest Anime Show. It's your boy DOC in the building with my man, Mr. Conspiracy.
Mr. Conspiracy here. How y'all doing out there, anime world? We coming to you this morning, dropping it early for you. DOC, what's going on?
I think you gotta let them know it's episode 003.
Oh, episode 003. And I'm gonna start this out by saying spoilers, baby, because we coming with food wars for everybody. And for the people who don't read the manga, there's definitely gonna be some spoilers on here. So if you don't want to know what happens after season 2, then I go ahead and advise you to stop right now. DLC, let's get into the show.
I think that's my part. I think I'm supposed to do spoilers and then you're supposed to correct me because I don't do spoilers. So you basically stealing my job. I'm going to let it slide because it's early in the morning. But anyway, anime world, food wars is what we're going to be talking about.
I refuse to actually take that sitting down. So before we get into food wars, let me go ahead and correct DOC. Last time, he probably ruined the Dragon Ball Super for a whole lot of Dragon Ball fans. So I wanted to go ahead and get that out the way. I rest my case. Okay, go ahead, DOC.
Anyway, let's get to food wars. It was probably one of the hottest animes of 2015. I was a little skeptical myself on Food Wars. Mr. Conspiracy had to convince me to watch the show because I'm like, what anime is gonna take food and make it something powerful? And I must say, from the first episode, I fell in love. So Food Wars revolves around the main character whose name is Soma Yukihara. You know, my Japanese ain't all that great, but you know, I'm gonna give it what I can. Basically, it follows his adventures as he basically goes to the number one food academy in the world where all the prodigies are sent. And we basically kind of follow him through his adventure as he's basically looked down upon in the institution because his family owns a lonely little diner. So nobody really pays attention to him, considering that the elites that come here all have these high, sophisticated diners, legends, these restaurants that, you know, cost hundreds of dollars, and he cooking cheap food like a college student. So it's people are a little skeptical of him when he gets there, but he does make friends. He does eventually gain some respect. I'm not going to say all, but some respect. So, Mr. Conspiracy, what really drew you to this anime?
What really drew me to this anime, DOC, is the number one thing, food. I love food. So I was thinking, okay, I watch a lot of anime, and they can take pretty much any category, any subject, and they can turn it into something. And I pretty much thought this was going to be a food comedy, which it basically really is. It is very funny, but they cook some amazing food. And believe me, every episode I watch just makes me hungry and want to go in the kitchen and actually cook. And when you were talking about that first episode that you watched that actually had you hooked, I was actually reading the summary, and I was thinking, wow, that this kid right here comes from a diner and he goes to the most prestigious culinary school, which is called Tutski. And their graduation percentage is 5%. Out of thousands of kids starting out as freshmen, you're talking about only 5% of them actually graduate. Can you believe that? Let's say that you actually went to a school like that, only 5% of you can graduate. So I figured, hey, I want to go ahead and watch this. I want to see where this takes me.
Well, that's definitely a good reason. I can't say I watched it because I love food, man. I'm just an anime junkie, so you just went on ahead and fed my addiction this time with something I couldn't get enough of. Like you said, from the very first episode, if you haven't seen it, basically he showcases his cooking skill in order to keep his diner from being closed by a food inspector. And you're like, wow, this dude's ability to cook is just out of this world. And going to this prestigious academy, you learn about the God Tongue, a.k.a. Arena Nakiri. Am I saying that right? Nakara. Okay, hey, we need the English dub over here, man. I read it, but, we need that English dub. But basically, you find out that she is the granddaughter of the headmaster of the academy. She is named a.k.a. the God Tongue, which I thought was really interesting to have a name like the God Tongue is your name. That's your opening name. Like, they weren't calling her by her name. They're like, oh, it's the God Tongue. It's like when Blade shows up on the scene, oh, it's the Daywalker. So I thought that was real interesting to see, because when you first meet her, she's basically a stuck-up, this kid friendly, so I ain't going to say what I want to say. And she just looks down upon him because she is the person issuing the entrance exam. And the food he cooks, she's like, this is subpar trash, basically. And she takes one bite of it and it blows her clothes off, literally. So, from the very beginning, he was hated. The only real reason he got into the academy was because her grandfather was like, I know this dude, I know his father, I know he can cook, I know about this guy. So if it hadn't been for the grandfather, based on the God Tongue, my mans wouldn't have made it. He would not have made it. So my question for you, Mr. Conspiracy, who do you think, as far as the series goes, who's your favorite character as far as in Food Wars goes?
It would have to be the number one protagonist, to be honest with you. Soma Kun is the guy that I like. It is kind of interesting because in most anime, I really don't like the protagonist as my number one character. But in this anime right here, it has to be him. He is not only the underdog, this man is just awesome. He has no cares in the world, but he's not stupid. He's actually pretty smart, but he just doesn't care. He doesn't care what you say about him. He doesn't care about what you think when it comes to his food. He just doesn't care. And I kind of like that attitude because he's going to prove it and bring it to you time and time again in the kitchen. And oh yes, people, once you watch this, once you read the manga, you want to go into that kitchen. DOC.
I can't say I want to go in the kitchen after looking at Food Wars. It ain't that serious to me. Everybody know me. I'm just a plain eater. So, you guys say I don't have no taste when it comes to food. So all that doesn't mean much anything to me. But I have to say that I can get with him being the star of the show. I get it. Something about an underdog. I don't know what it is about an underdog I like. And I always like characters who are based on underdogs. And they have to show or prove themselves. I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't like the guy who comes in cocky like your man Vegeta from last episode. I don't like Vegeta. I don't like, I'm cocky and arrogant, because what we see time and time again, whether we're talking about anime or real life, the cocky one always gets his butt whooped. So the God Tongue, she got a taste of his real cooking, blew her clothes off. Everybody who has underestimated this man has, for the most part, felt his wrath in this anime. So, I can get that. I would have to say, he's one of my favorite characters because, like you said, he doesn't care. He is the underdog. But I think something a little bit better than that is he's not really trying to beat them. He's trying to beat his father. And you really don't see that a lot in anime where the dad plays such an important role. Like unless he died or something like that and they shaped the main character. But since the dad is alive and originally you don't know who this man is. You don't know he's a bad... We saw that BMF. Yeah, I said BMF because we're not using the real words. You're supposed to say shut your mouth, DOC, but you missed out on your opportunity. It's okay. I'm not going to get at you. But when we talk about his dad is a beast. And you see that and you find out that the godson is the only reason why she cooks is because she looks up to his dad, but she don't know it's his dad. Tell me the irony of that, Mr. Conspiracy.
To be honest with you, watching the anime, reading the manga, it is crazy. It is amazing. Just to see the look on her face. Just to see the look on her face when she actually remembers his dad. When she really looks at a picture and says, oh my goodness. She's a little girl. She is, I want to say about maybe 5 when she first meets this guy. And she's head over heels. It's like she met her prince. You know, and just the fact that she's looking down at Soma Kun, okay, he's a B-rated chef, not knowing that his father is one of the greatest chefs of all time. I mean, that is really amazing. So, when you actually look further into the manga, which I can't wait for them to actually touch down on this when it comes to the anime, it's going to be pretty interesting, the actual reactions of what people have when she really finds out the truth. And I just think that it's one of the most funniest things in the world to me when she thinks about this guy and she's in love with his food and him, you know, but she's in love with his food and it's just like, wow. Do you not realize that the person you hate so much, everything about him that you hate, you actually love about his father, which is the craziest thing, you know? And so I just think that when it comes down to it, I think that she just kind of just hates herself and the position that she's in.
Well, I could see that, definitely. Considering from the time she was a little kid, she's been considered a prodigy among prodigies because of her ability to taste. So I can definitely see that would be an issue. But it is funny to me that, like you said, the one person in this world you hate is the offspring of the one person that you love, which is almost ironic in itself. But like you said, you know, how much crazier do you get with that? Because it's like, initially you don't know that his dad is this dude, he's that beast. It's like finding out your dad is Michael Jordan, but you don't know who Michael Jordan is, basically. And, you know, Soma Kun, for the most part, he has no idea his dad is a monster. You know, he just knows he can't beat him. That's all he knows. And he's constantly battling everybody else to try and battle his father, which it has nothing to do with these people at school. I'm not going to school to better myself. I'm going to school to be you, which is really interesting to me. So I think it's kind of, like you said, it is really crazy that she's basically in love with his dad, but hates his son. So God only knows what happens. She might pass out when she finds out that, you know, the one, she probably has treated him better and everything. Be like, I hated you, but you always treated me well. And the other part is he don't care. He treats her like crap. I mean, like, it's not crap like, hey, man, you ain't gonna be nothing. It's just like, whatever, you ain't great. Like, everybody else in here kiss yo, but you not that special to me. You just normal chick. I can beat you. And she's like, you know, everybody else is kissing her, but not Soma Kun. Soma Kun talk to you, a random chick at this cooking school. You ain't that hot. Now, he has gone to her for help for certain dishes because of her taste, you know. But beyond that, he treats her normal versus everybody else either fears or respects her. So I think that makes it very interesting. I mean, how do you feel that relationship is going to end up going further between those two?
Well, to me, you know, you have Somo Yukihara, okay, the man himself. To me, he's a legend already, you know. But how I think that their relationship going forward will actually be, it's all determined based off when she finds out who his father is, because that's going to open up her eyes. And when that opens up her eyes, I think that, like you said, like you actually mentioned just recently, that a lot of feelings that she has towards Soma Kun are going to change. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to change romantically, but what I am saying, though, is that her feelings will change towards him. They may even become friends after that. You never know. They could be married, later down the line, after they graduate, or maybe even before. They might just drop out senior year and just get married or something, man. We don't know. But I think that their relationship is going to actually go and bring them to new heights. Because one thing that we haven't mentioned yet to the fans, and this is also something that I feel is great about Soma Kun, is that the Tutsuki Academy has what you call the Elite 10. And the Elite 10 are the greatest cooks in the academy, ranked 1 through 10. Number 1, of course, being the greatest. And you can only take their ranking by A, somebody graduating, or B, you actually battling them in a Shoulder-Ki. And let's just say this, if you're not part of the Elite 10, they're not going to battle you because you're trash. And yes, these people are awesome. When you join the Elite 10, you gain something that's, I want to say, even better than being Michael Jordan in reality because of the things that they get. You're talking all over the world, not just in your country. They are known all over the world, okay, as being great, as high school, as students. I mean, all of the professional chefs out there in the world, most of them can't compare to the Elite 10. And what does Soma Kun do? What does he say, okay, when it comes to the freshman ceremony? Tutsuki is just a stepping stone for this guy. He could care less about the Elite 10. You know what this guy says? I'm going to become number 1. That number 1 spot is mine. And I think right there, that is what makes him so great. And I think because of his attitude and how she is when it comes to the godson being arrogant, okay, to me being a spoiled brat, okay, that relationship right there between the two, I think, is going to just turn into something grand. It's going to make the academy so much better. What you think about that, DLC?
I think it's time.
For the ladies and gentlemen around the world, and for the millions listening at home, it's time for Anime Fisticuffs! DLC, who do we have lined up for today?
Soma Kun versus God Tongue is our actual anime fisticuffs today. So I'm glad you brought this up. It's the spoiled brat versus the underdog. The one who's not supposed to be the not chosen one. The AKA could be the weakest one because he don't have the status. So here it goes. For me, I know what you're going to say. Your boy is Soma Kun, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the controversial pick and go with the God Tongue for the win. And I know what you're thinking. DOC, why the God Tongue versus Soma Kun? One reason and one reason alone. Her grandfather and her father have had her tasting and making food since she was a kid. From some of the best in the world. I'm not taking anything away from Soma Kun. I'm not saying it's a throwdown, boom, she wins, automatically knockout. This is a 12-round fight, baby. And I think she takes it by decision, and that alone. Because she has had more experience, tasted more food than your man Soma Kun has. Now, Mr. Conspiracy, bring it now.
Controversy. Okay, you want to be controversial. Controversy. That is what you are actually basing your decision on. Because that's what it sounds like to me. I don't think it has anything to do with the God Tongue and her talent per se. Because to me, your boy, Mr. Conspiracy, Soma Kun is the man. He wins this. Not hands down, but I'm going to tell you why he wins this. And it's something that she lacks. That most of them lack. Not all, but most. But especially her and her family as a whole. Creativity and imagination. That trumps a lot when you have skill to back it up. Okay, she may have the God Tongue. She may have been cooking since she was small. She may have tested so many, different cultures when it comes to food. So have I. Okay, I've tasted a whole lot of food from different cultures. That don't mean I can cook them all.
Are we talking about you or are we talking about Soma Kun?
Okay.
I felt like you threw yourself in there, and this isn't about you.
First of all, okay, I'm the greatest. All right. But anyway, he right. This ain't about me. You know what I'm saying? We'll go ahead and do another episode about me and my talents later on. But Soma Kun in himself is great, okay? Because of what we were talking about with his dad. How can we put so much glory? How can we glorify his father so much and just, okay, Godson's had this since she was little, her grandfather, blah, blah, blah. But Soma Kun is his offspring, man. Okay, he's been learning from his father since he was little as well. I mean, he even tells you in the first 2 episodes when he actually started cooking, when he first held a knife in the kitchen, man. Come on now, DOC. After you hear that, what you got to say?
It's real simple, man. Bloodline doesn't always win, okay? Born with natural talent, aka the God Ton, you can't teach Soma Kun that. Now, yeah, you might be creative. You might have a lot of ability. But Michael Jordan's kids couldn't play basketball like he could. So your offspring ain't got nothing to do with your raw talent. Yeah, he's got imagination. But you know what I find out about people who are creative like that? It's because you don't have raw talent. So you have to find another way to win. She has raw talent. And she has something he doesn't have. The God Ton is feared internationally. It's not that I don't respect your boy. It's just that I know true talent. She's a prodigy. He could be considered a prodigy, but he lacks that one thing. She has what no one else has. It's not something that can be duplicated, replicated. Nobody can do what she can do. So that's why I say your boy loses in a 12-round match by decision. Because it has nothing to do. It's not based solely on skill. She can do something he can't. What you got for that today, Mr. Conspiracy?
What I got for this is a humongous spoiler. Okay, if you don't want to know what's going down right now in the manga when it comes to Soma Kun and the Elite 10, I advise you to shut it off, turn this off, go and listen to somebody else, Barney or somebody, because it's about to go down for real. And I'm going to explain something to you right now, DOC, because I'm not only Mr. Conspiracy, okay, I am Mr. Conspiracy, the man, all right? And let me explain this to you, all right? Because you're talking about the God Tongue, okay, like she's a true God, okay, like she's a goddess, like she's all of this and all of that. If you actually read the manga, which I know you do, my man knows a lot. He knows a lot when it comes to anime and manga, okay? Soma Kun went 1-on-1 with the great one, okay? And that is the #1 seed. And you know what the #1 seed said? He said, man, okay, I don't know if I really want this guy as my lackey because he's so great. Okay, he would interfere with what I do. The #1 seed, the great one, said this about Soma Kun. He could care less. The #1 seed could care less about the God Tongue. Okay, she's nothing to the first seed. But the first seed actually sees Soma Kun's what? His greatness. So when you're talking about the God Tongue of Soma Kun facing off, I don't care about her talent, okay? I don't care about what she was born with. Because guess what? The first seed wasn't born with that type of greatness either. But he's the #1 seed for a reason.
Okay, he's the #1 seed for a reason, but he ain't battled the God Tongue. He ain't took it upon himself to fight, aka the God Tongue, the Great One. Because if he was as bad as you say, then I sure enough would be trying to embarrass the God Tongue so I can show my dominance in the cooking world. Because if I beat her, everybody knows her. You right, the Elite 10, everybody knows and they're internationally known. But the God Tongue, her family, this whole school is her legacy to be handed down to her at some point. So, if you beat her, then what do you get? You become infamous. Okay? So what? You believe your boy got greatness in him. You know what I mean? They said the same thing in A Bug's Life. You know what I'm saying? They got some greatness in them. Doesn't mean you come to become the true hero of the story, Mr. Conspiracy. You know just like I do. What is he gonna Goku? He gonna go to the next level every time the challenge gets issued? He gonna start screaming? You want me to do it? I didn't go to the next level. Doesn't always mean you gonna win, Mr. Conspiracy. Come on now.
Oh my goodness, people out there, okay, the world listening, boys, girls, women, and men. I think he's forgetting who he's talking to. Mr. Conspiracy's here. And let me go ahead and bring this up right now. I got two examples for your boy. Since he loves DC so much, likes to bring them up in a few past episodes, let me go ahead and say this, okay? We got somebody who was born with and somebody who wasn't born with, but they're both considered great. And it's a back and forth battle between who's the number one superhero. And I'm talking about Superman versus Batman.
Boo.
Boo? Really? You're gonna boo me, sir? You know what? Okay, fine. How about this then? Since we did one on Dragon Ball already, okay, and I believe that was episode 001. Please go back and watch that if you have not seen it. It was a great episode. But we have Vegeta, my boy, who was born great. Okay, and then we have who the story is actually about, the show is actually about, which is Goku, who was born to be a low-class Saiyan, but who's the greatest in Universe 7? That would be Goku. He is the strongest. I will give him that. Okay, so tell me, after you hear that, tell me, I know you're going to say something lame, but you know what, we want to hear it anyway.
Well, I've got one answer for you. A, she ain't no Super Saiyan and neither Soma Kun. So you ain't got to worry about them powering up and going to the next level, Mr. Conspiracy. I love how you brought up Batman versus Superman in our anime fisticuffs. Because let me tell you right now, I would consider the God Tongue to be Superman and Soma Kun Batman. And you know what Superman can do? Bullets bounce off this man. And no matter what, if he's serious, he destroys Batman. If she's serious, anime world, you're hearing it live. DOC says she puts Soma Kun in his place. Put it on the line. Because we both know that when it came to the autumn election, what happened to your boy? Did he win first place? Did he do what he said he was gonna do? God Tongue didn't have to be involved. Why? Because she's the God Tongue. No need to be with the commoners. I'm past you already. What did your man? Did he win or lose, Mr. Conspiracy? Go ahead. Spoiler alert. He's about to bring that real. Go ahead.
Okay, my boys. I can't believe, okay, DLC's gonna put me on the spot like this. But my boy Soma Kun won second place. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay? And it has something to do with me, basically. Okay, and what I do. And that is the fact that it was a conspiracy. Okay? You talking bias, alright? And you're probably wondering who he lost to. Which is very interesting because I'm going to use him later in the show. He lost to a guy named Akira, okay, which this guy is something like the God Tongue. He has a special nose. He can smell down to the ingredient, to where the actual ingredient was grown and came from. Okay, that's how great this guy's nose is. Okay, the God Tongue has the taste. This guy has the smell. That's who he lost to. And who went first, okay, in that battle in the finals? He did. Okay, Soma Kun didn't. Soma Kun went last. Which what? That automatically meant that Akira had already solidified all of the judges when it came to being biased. Because that's what happened in the show. Spoiler, baby. That's what happened in the show. Because one of the judges was like, oh my gosh, his food is so great. It's amazing. His smell is so awesome. She had already had it in her mind that this guy was going to win. She was not going to let anybody else outrank him when it came to giving him points. And that is exactly what happened. Because guess what? In my opinion, alright, and I think in a few other people's opinion, Soma Kun should have won that battle. I can't wait for y'all to see it.
Well, again, what happened? Second place, didn't do what you said you was going to do. So when it came to the big stage, with my girl, the God Tongue, has been on her whole life, your man came up short. You can say it's biased. You can say it's a lot of things. But what do we talk about in sports? One call shouldn't ruin the whole game. You should have brought your A game. So when it comes to this battle right here, your man Soma Kun cannot beat the God Ton. She has the experience, the nose, and she's been in worse situations battling these people her whole life because of who her grandfather and who her father is. She's been around this talent. Your man, he's been battling his dad, and nothing taken against his dad because his dad is an awesome cook. But what happens when you don't have variety in this world? You only know one style of fighting. My girl knows how to fight different ways. So that's why I say your man Soma Kun cannot beat her in a 12-round match. He already came in second place. Too bad it wasn't against her, so he'd have made third place. DOC is dropping the mic.
Guess what? Over. No, it ain't over. Mr. Conspiracy's about to pick up the mic and throw it back in DOC's face here in just a minute so he can catch it. Okay, so since we're going to do this, and we still are in fisticuffs, just a little bit longer, okay? Maybe about 2-3 minutes, just a little bit longer, okay? Let me explain something to you, okay? The guy that Soma Kun lost to, okay, Akira, you know what he said about the God Tongue? She's a loser. She don't want to see him. That's exactly what he said. You know what she did? She didn't come see him after he said that. He told her straight up, listen, I'm going to take your seat, okay? I'm going to be number one, okay? You're a loser, okay? And guess what? You know what she did? She did absolutely nothing. She didn't face him off. She didn't say nothing to this guy. This guy came out and said, you're a loser, okay? I am going to take your seat. You're a loser to me, okay? I don't care anything about you or your God tongue. So, honestly, Soma Kun losing to him, you know, in a biased situation, I mean, it is what it is when it comes to that. You know, okay, I can understand that, you know, but let's be honest here, okay? The guy he lost to is also worthy of going to the number one spot, and he automatically said, I want the God tongue. She been running from this man, so, I mean, what's your point?
My point is this, is that anime world, you gonna have to decide this because me and him are split down the middle on who is the greatest between these two. So for anime fisticuffs, I'm not gonna say it's a tie because nobody likes a tie. I'm gonna let y'all decide. You tell us who is better. Is it Soma Kun or is it the God Tongue? Let us know. But right now, we're about to go into Mr. Conspiracy.
Wait a minute. Okay, DOC was, you know, yapping and bumping his gums earlier. It's my time. This is my world.
If you are paranoid, we know what you are and what you want. Stay on the line and we'll trace your call. If you are schizophrenic, listen carefully and a small voice will tell you which number to press. If you have a short-term memory loss, please try your call again later. And if you have low self-esteem, hang up. All our operators are too busy to talk to you.
Mr. Conspiracy.
We talking about what ifs, baby. It's my time to shine right now. DOC, silence, you already dropped the mic. So what is the what if about today? Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring this back up in the what if. Okay, what if the God Tongue and my boy Akira actually faced off? Ooh, bombshell, baby. What if they actually faced off? Since the stuff we know about them between you and me is a lot. Is a lot of knowledge being dropped here, baby, okay? What do you think? Okay, when it comes to them facing off one-on-one, what if they faced off?
I think that your man is going to crack under pressure, and I think the God Tongue again is going to take this because just because he called her a loser and she did not answer him doesn't mean anything. I don't answer the haters who don't like this show. You know why? Not worth my time. But guess what? When it is time for me to shine, anime world, Midwest Anime Show exists. Haters still go hate. So she's still in her position. Your man is trying to get there. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's a difference between somebody who's already made it versus a wannabe. And right now, them two are wannabes. They want to be there. So in your what if scenario, I still got my girl, the God Tongue, holding it down in your what if, Mr. Conspiracy. So bam, you took over the world, but guess what? I just dominated it. What?
Okay, first of all, let's go ahead and get something straight here, anime world. This is the Midwest Anime Show, and the only reason why DOC has any light any light that he's shining bright, okay, is the fact that your boy, Mr. Conspiracy here, is sharing his light, is sharing his greatness with DOC. Now, if I decide to be selfish and take it back, then what? It'll just be the Conspiracy Show, but I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to do that to DOC over here, even though I threw the mic in his face and he didn't want to catch it, okay, like a good boy. But that's fine, okay? We're going to go ahead and go back with the what if here, okay? What if they actually faced off? Shohiki, baby, what if they actually faced off? Let me go ahead and explain a little bit of backstory here. The Godson didn't even know this guy ever existed, just for the fact of her position. She had no idea about this dude. So all of the facing different things when it comes to the culinary world, she's never faced an opponent that has a weapon he was born with, just like her.
Okay, I can see that, but I still give it to her because you did say it best. She didn't know him, so you know what that means? He was unworthy of being known. If he was something special in the cooking world, he had to come to this school to prove himself. She's already a proven commodity, son. Let me school you in how it goes. She's gold, they silver and copper. You just hope one day that the currency dropped to something else, is what I'm trying to tell you. Because for right now, she's the gold standard of things. And until she gets beat to take her seat, she's going to be the gold standard. So even in your what if, my girl is still winning.
Really? So now I gotta drop more knowledge, okay? Everybody, take out your pen and paper. Please write this down because you'll maybe be able to sell it one day for millions of dollars. Because I'm about to give you word for word what's about to happen here right now. And I'm about to crush DOC's face. It's just, oh my gosh, my face is just falling apart. Yeah. That's exactly what's about to happen right now. Because the God-tongue, she was born into privilege, okay? Akira, he was born into poverty. He grew up on the street. Matter of fact, he got into the academy because someone found him on the street, okay? He was homeless. That's why he didn't get what she got, because she was born into it. She didn't deserve it, in my opinion. She was born into it. That's the only reason why she got the recognition as early as she did. So when you come to how they were raised, where they were raised, how they were born, okay, when you put the pedigree there, okay, when you put everything behind that, what you got to say about the what if then, DLC?
I got to say the same thing I do. You underestimate her because she was born into privilege. I don't underestimate the fact that your man had to work hard. The difference is that yes, she was born into a family, but they recognized early on who she was and the ability she had early on. It's not her fault that all the kings and queens from all over the world in the culinary world come to her because they know she's the gold standard. So you can bring up pedigree if you want to. All I'm telling you is that she's seen the world, and just like that little poor kid you're talking about, he don't know nothing about the world. Again, he doesn't have diversity. All he do is he been on the streets, he got lucky, somebody adopted him who knew something about cooking, and he's been exposed to cooking, but not to the degree she has. Sometimes your pedigree gets you things that a normal person can't get. And on that stage, she's been there a lot longer than he has. So when it comes to these battles and things like that, I do not knock your boy for his life he lived. But I do knock the fact that he doesn't have the diversity to play on her level because she was born into it, like you mentioned, Mr. Conspiracy.
Okay, so we're going to stick with the what ifs. We're going to stick with the what ifs when it comes to them battling, because now I got to give DOC a little bit more so he can try to come back at me. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, Akira survived on the street. How? Everybody wants to know, how did he survive on the street? Because of his nose. Because of his special nose, he survived on the street. And that's how he met one of the former Elite 10, is because she was about to get bamboozled from a guy selling food on the street. Okay, and Akira saved her thanks to his nose. That means that he's been surviving life. Okay? Surviving life because of his nose. That's how great his nose is. That's how much he has perfected what he was born with. Her, on the other hand, she uses it for hibbly hoobla stuff just so she can get more famous. It's not because it's for her to survive. No. Her God Tongue has nothing to do with her survival at all.
Well, I want to bring up the mere fact you made a good statement. She was adopted by a fool, okay? And when you're raised by a fool, guess what they do to you? You become a fool. Now, you can say he survived on the streets, wasn't doing too well, obviously, if you got to get the bamboozled dummy to come save you, which is fine, okay? But again, you talk about her, the God Tongue, you got to remember who her grandfather is, who her father is. You got to remember where she comes from, okay? The pedigree sometimes plays a role in what we get in life. And in this case, the pedigree for her not only gave her the ability to see these cultures, touch these cultures, but it gave her the ability to taste all these cultures around her. So your man, he can't cook to the level she can. I truly believe that. It has nothing to do with anything more that she's just not on, he is not on her level. Thank you, Mr. Conspiracy. Are you dancing or something? Is something going on? Are you having a Harlem Shake moment? What?
It just hit me, anime world. It just hit me. This dude keep bringing up her father and grandfather. Let me explain something, okay? Her dad was awesome, okay? He was the third seat when Soma Kun's dad actually went to the school, when he went to the academy. Alright, so her father is great. He is extraordinary. But let's get something straight here, okay? The God Tongue's actual grandfather that you keep talking about, who is the director, well, let me go ahead and tell you something, okay? We don't know if this dude can cook at all. He ain't cooked. He ain't been in no kitchen. We have no idea what this dude can do. All we know is that he judges food and he opened up this academy. Okay, let's be honest here. So until he actually goes into the kitchen, puts on one of those little aprons he can, strip out of like he does whenever he tastes his food, good food to be exact, okay, I don't want to hear about her grandfather no more. I really don't. Her father is good, that's nice, but guess what? Her father wasn't better than Soma Kun's father.
But too bad we not talking about Soma Kun's father in this what if. So what happened? Oh, somebody with no pedigree again is in this battle, Soma Kun's a little different, and I gave you that Soma Kun came from who he came from. But this guy isn't that dude. So what I'm trying to tell you as far as that goes is we know you grasping at straws, because I don't think you're going to get into a cooking academy and become the director if you not a BMF. And if you don't know what that is, go ask your parents or whoever you talk to. Google will help you. What you got, Mr. Conspiracy? You look like you're about to blow up over there.
Mr. Conspiracy here. Number one, okay, Food Wars is not for kids. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of all the BS. Okay, this show is not for children. Alright, so with that being said, number one, the director, her grandfather, started the academy, which means that he can put whatever prestige, whatever sign label he wants to put on himself, make himself be great, which tells me that this dude made his money a totally different way than the actual academy itself. Okay, I don't think it had anything to do with food, but we don't know the backstory, DOC, and I know that you look like you want to say something, but I'm going to drop something that you already said. I'm going to go ahead and say something you already said. Soma Kun, my boy, came in what place in the autumn election?
Second.
To who?
Your man for the what if, Akira.
Okay, so with that being said, you don't want to give this guy Akira the benefit of the doubt with everything that has been said. You don't want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, really?
I don't, because you won't give the grandfather the benefit of the doubt. So since I can't give benefit of doubt on grandfather, you sure enough ain't getting it on an unknown commodity. Thank you very much, Mr. Conspiracy. Now, if you want to go ahead and say grandfather got to be a beast in the kitchen, I'll go ahead and give you that. But he still loses to her.
I don't know if I can do that, because spoiler alert, okay? Akira actually becomes part of the Elite 10. He eventually becomes part of the Elite 10. Sooner than later. Okay, yeah, there was some circumstances and things like that had to happen. I'm gonna let the fans read the manga, watch the anime, and they can find out, how he became part of the Elite 10. But I will let you know he does become a part of them sooner than later. Okay, so he does get that label eventually. Soon, he does get that label. So he does reaches, her status when it comes to what she is. Okay, because let's get it straight, she's number 10. She's number 10 when it comes to the seats. She's the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to the seats. So you're probably wondering, well, if she's number 10, what number is he? He's higher than 10. So what does that tell you then?
That just tells me my girl hadn't got a chance to prove herself. That's all. That's all that means to me. She'll get to battle your boy and in your Shogaku, and she gonna take his stuff when it does happen. Because eventually, this battle it'll turn into an anime fisticuffs, and it'll stop being a what if. And when it does happen, we can revisit this topic, and we can either you win, I win, either or. I tell you what, let's put it like this, Mr. Conspiracy. Lunch is on the winner when it does happen.
I can actually agree to that. Okay, lunch is on the winner. Okay, and which it will be me. So I hope that you get paid that day. I hope your pockets is fat because I'm not eating light, baby.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna step out of the world of what ifs and fantasies, and we're gonna step into the news. So, Mr. Conspiracy, what is our breaking news for today when it comes to food wars?
When it comes to food wars, baby, we talking about the news. Breaking news. Oh my goodness. I wish I had some glass to shatter because I like the sound of that. Breaking news. Food wars breaking news. We're going to talk about season 3 coming out. Season 3 is coming out sometime next year, hopefully in the spring. They have not given us an actual release date, but it will be coming out next year. I cannot wait for it, people. A lot of what we were talking about will happen in season 3, and the people who have not actually watched the show, please go ahead and watch it from the beginning before you start season 3, because otherwise you will be very disappointed. And season 3 really has a lot to deal with who? The God Tongue's father finally comes into play. He finally shows up, and we get to learn all about him. Not to mention, we also get to learn about the Elite 10 that they have now. DOC, what else we got for the breaking news when it comes to food wars?
Well, I think when it does break again, it will be on Crunchyroll, because that is one of the number one sources for getting your anime. If you're a Hulu subscriber, it'll be a week later when it comes to that. And like you said, 2017 is looking positive. The story arc looks like it will, in this particular case, pick up, like you said, with the father coming back, and spoiler alert, him trying to take over the academy and dismantle it, and basically he's gonna use his daughter basically as a food tester, basically. So your boy Soma Kun gets asked to come save her, to come save the academy. So it will be interesting. But as far as news goes, that's really all we have to say as far as food wars go. But I guess after the news, we do need to know, Mr. Conspiracy, what are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? Man, honestly, I really want you guys to really get into My Hero Academia. I mean, I am reading it. It is an amazing manga. I really want you guys to go ahead and get into that manga. And please watch the show if you haven't watched it. But I really want you guys to just read that manga. That is the number one manga that I am reading right now. And I just encourage everybody to go ahead and just read that. I know that might not be new breaking news, but that's just how interesting and great that manga truly is. DOC, what you got going on over there?
For me, man, I'm kind of going back on some oldie but goldies, on as far as what I'm reading these days. I actually have been trying to catch up on The Gate, reading some, because I really love the anime. So catching up with The Gate, I think people, if you're a big fan of The Gate, season 1, season 2, was on Crunchyroll or Hulu. Definitely is a great manga, and it definitely goes a little bit further into the relationships So, I mean, for me right now, that's what I'm reading. As far as what I'm watching, you know, Mr. Conspiracy, I'm always watching several things. I took it back for you, was watching an older anime called World Break. You know, it's one of my favorites. It's a light novel. It's only 12 episodes. I think that one was only on Hulu. No, it was on Hulu and Crunchyroll. And basically, you know, you follow basically the main character. I forget his name. Not important as far as that goes. But basically, he has 2 past lives, and he is considered, you know, the dragon, one of the most powerful creatures or beings that had ever existed. So, really, if you haven't got a chance to watch that, World Break, one of my all-time favorites. 12 episodes is great. I will, Mr. Conspiracy, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, I want to go ahead and comment on that World Break because I've actually seen that whole anime, and it's a really great anime. Morihei, he is actually the lead protagonist, and I think that he's awesome. He has 2 past lives, like you were talking about, DLC, and what makes that so interesting is because the more past lives that you have, the stronger you are. He's not the only one that has this, though. There's a few others that have this in other countries, and they're what you call the country's elite weapon of mass destruction. And so I think just knowing that right there, I think that the fans would be interested in knowing about the weapon of mass destruction for Japan. And so I really think that you guys should go ahead and get into that anime like DLC was talking about. It's a great anime. I'm mad that it only has 12 episodes, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. You know, anime fans, we run into this all the time. So when it comes to the breaking news, I definitely would recommend World Break.
Well, it's time for the Midwest Anime Show to sign out. We would like to thank our sponsor, Anime T-Shirts Today, your number one source for anime. You can reach them at www.animetshirtstoday.com. Fans, if you have anything to say, please leave it on our Facebook page, The Midwest Anime Show. Leave us your comments, your concerns, or anything you may want us to do, anything you may want us to talk about here coming up. And this is us signing off. Let's get out of here, Mr. Conspiracy.
Take it easy.
Bam, baby! Mr. Conspiracy. We out.